This is one of the best wine producing regions in Canada, and the Niagara Escarpment plays an important role in the process. I'm here in the Niagara-on-the-Lake wine region, where I'll check out some wineries, eat great food, and explore this beautiful part of Ontario and its connection to this UNESCO World Biosphere Reserve. As this series continues, I'll be using this pristine ribbon of land to guide me north, as I explore the landscapes, towns, cities, and industries adjacent to this unbroken natural corridor, from Niagara to Tobermory. Ontario has 3 separate wine regions that are all situated within the world's fine wine zone, which stretches from the 41st parallel to the 44th. Within that zone is Prince Edward County and Lake Erie's North Shore, and right between the two is Niagara. With the right mix of limestone-based soil, a moderate climate thanks to the Great Lakes systems, plenty of sunshine, and of course, the airflow thanks to the Niagara Escarpment, this region has the perfect recipe to produce world-class wine and tender fruit. To be clear, the Niagara wine region extends further west beyond the Niagara-on-the-Lake area and covers the entire Niagara Peninsula. But in this episode, I'm focusing on what's inside the Niagara-on-the-Lake boundaries, as it's the heart of the winemaking region. And dotted throughout the vineyards and orchards of this area are some stunning wineries. And I want to start with one of my favorites. Located right in the center of the Niagara-on-the-Lake region is Gretzky Estates. This winery and property is one of my favorites because it feels a little more modern and lively than some of the other wineries in the area. Entering the lobby, you'll see some great photos of Wayne and his family, as well as cool memorabilia from his career. Up the ramp is the wine tasting hall, as well as a great patio overlooking the property and vineyards. Up another level is the club lounge, which has an elegant bar and seating area with views overlooking the fountain and the whiskey bar below. The whiskey bar and patio feels like a vacation destination. The seating area surrounds the huge water feature and makes for a really relaxing and enjoyable meal. And the food is great too. We ordered the grilled barbecue double beef cheeseburger, which was basically their version of a Big Mac, but on steroids. We also ordered the mojito chicken salad, which was full of super fresh ingredients. To drink, we got the lemonade and the cold brew, which I would highly recommend to any coffee drinkers. Through the winter months, this water feature turns into a skating rink. They bring out big patio heaters and serve up food and drinks and skating on Wayne's backyard rink. Another winery that we checked out was Southbrook. This place focuses on organic wines and biodynamic and regenerative farming. The winery itself is visually striking, and they have a beautiful patio surrounded by vineyards where they offer up wine and pizza. A great combo. Peller is probably one of the most successful and well-known wineries in Ontario, with ownership stakes in at least 8 other wineries. And this is pretty evident as you make your way down their long driveway towards the impressive estate. They have a very fancy looking restaurant off the main lobby, but it's the terrace wine bar that I would come back for to try one day. With lots of shade and great views over the vineyards, this looks like a great place to visit for lunch or dinner. We were there too early in the day to try it out. Reif Estate Winery is definitely more quaint than Peller, giving a Napa Valley vibe. This place is much more low-key, but the patio area and tasting rooms look beautiful. This winery is right on the Niagara River Parkway, and the vineyards are just steps away, making this an easy one to explore for anyone. This is a drop in the bucket. There are so many wineries in the Niagara region that you can check out, but it's not just the wineries that benefit from their unique location between Lake Ontario and the Niagara Escarpment. Tender fruit is a big business here as well, and it's one of the most productive fruit growing regions in the world, believe it or not. You'll come across lots of fruit stands and farms as you explore the wineries of Niagara. But if you don't have time to venture into the wine region to try and find fruit stands or fruit farms, there are 2 right on the Niagara River Parkway. Epp Family Farm has a small stand selling fruits right there on their farm. The basket I bought was $12, which isn't bad considering it's $11 for green grapes at the grocery store right now. There's also Walker's Country Market, which is just a little further south. Here you can get fresh fruit, pastries, and all kinds of stuff like that. We actually bought an apple crumble here once, and it was delicious. Hey, I'm Mark. I'm a photographer and videographer based in the Toronto area, and I make videos about North American places and experiences. And with every video, I do my best to bring you great visuals and information about the places that I visit. And if you're enjoying this video, I have more on my channel like this one, so please consider subscribing. And if you've already done that, I really appreciate you, and thank you. A trip to Niagara-on-the-Lake wouldn't be complete without cruising the Niagara River Parkway. Along the way, you'll get great views of the Niagara River, big estates, and vineyards. It's one of the most beautiful drives in the area. Between driving the Niagara River Parkway and the country roads of the wine region, you could have a great day just meandering from one estate to the next, enjoying the views from your car or bike. And with the Niagara Escarpment as the backdrop, this is easily one of the most picturesque areas of southern Ontario. The communities of the area have benefited greatly from the Niagara Escarpment and the industries that it spawned. Thanks to this prosperity, Old Town Niagara-on-the-Lake is a thriving and beautiful community. Once the capital of Upper Canada, today it's at the heart of a booming wine region and tourist center, surrounded by stunning natural beauty. Queen Street is the main thoroughfare and one of the most photogenic streets in Ontario. But Niagara-on-the-Lake was an important strategic location during the War of 1812, after President James Madison declared war on Canada. Just steps outside of the historic Old Town is Fort George. This fortification was built on the Niagara River and just south from Fort Mississauga, which sits right at the mouth of the river where it drains out to Lake Ontario. This defensive position was critical to defending Upper Canada's borders. It also served as the headquarters for the British military's Centre Division. The Niagara River Gorge, aka the Niagara Escarpment, serves as a natural defensive line, making it difficult for the Americans to push forward. The Americans did actually take Fort George for a short time, before abandoning the fort and going back across the river. Ultimately, the Niagara River would become the border we know today. It's a fascinating piece of local history that had a massive national impact. Today, you can walk across the fort and explore the barracks and several other buildings. The fort doesn't take long to explore, but it's definitely a worthwhile experience. A few things to make sure you do when you visit is to see the musket demonstration, walk the underground tunnel to the lookout post, and try a ginger snap cookie made with a recipe from the 1800s. There's a couple small villages within the Niagara-on-the-Lake community in the heart of the vineyards and orchards. One is St. David's, and the other is Virgil, which is the larger of the two towns. If you're not in the mood for wine, you can check out Silversmith Brewing, who have been established for 12 years and recently won 2024 Business of the Year in Niagara. If you're looking for a quick bite and love classic diners, then you have to make a stop at Sono's Diner. They serve up all-day breakfast and lunch. I grabbed a BLT, which hit the spot. The service was friendly and fast, and I was back out on the road pretty quick. The most famous feature along the Niagara Escarpment is for sure Niagara Falls. In fact, it's because of the escarpment that the Niagara region brings in billions of dollars annually from tourism and hospitality. Without the escarpment, there would be no Horseshoe, American, or Bridal Veil Falls. But it's no wonder that Niagara Falls brings in so much money and tourism. Since the first humans set eyes on Niagara, the falls have intrigued and fascinated people. The earliest records show that rumors of these great falls were widely heard. In May 1535, Jacques Cartier heard about the falls from indigenous tribes that he met along the St. Lawrence River. He never saw them with his own eyes. Samuel de Champlain, in 1608, heard stories about the massive waterfalls. He too never saw them. It's believed that Etienne Brulé may have been the first documented European to see the falls in 1615, but well before the arrival of any Europeans, indigenous tribes had witnessed Niagara Falls for over 12,000 years. It was shortly after the glaciers receded that early hunter-gatherers occupied the area. For thousands of years, indigenous peoples lived, thrived, and battled on these lands. And there's a lot of history that you can uncover. The Battle of Queenston Heights was one of the biggest events, and it was thanks to about 80 Haudenosaunee and Delaware warriors that the battle was won. The American forces pushed their way up the escarpment, but the indigenous warriors held them back for hours, giving the British time to get reinforcements to the area and ultimately forcing the Americans to surrender. The escarpment has played an important role in the lives of those who have lived here before us, and it continues to make a major impact in our lives today, even if we don't feel that directly day to day. And the Great Cliff that runs along continues west, then north, and I'll be following it wherever it leads me next. Thanks for watching, see you next time.